But I was going to ask you, Eric, in a situation like that, when your arm is underneath the shoulder, what can you do from a cradle position like that to
tough.
get the fall?
You have to readjust. Make sure you get your hips up top. So Zach Hall and Danny Sabatello. And Sabatello in early on the swing single, gets a takedown, and now we see Sabatello locking up the cradle. And this is going to take a lot of energy out of both guys. Not only Sabatello on his forearms for keeping that grip, but also Zach Hall trying to stay as big as he can, keep that knee away from his head. But as I was mentioning, really big duels this weekend for North Carolina State, and that's going to dictate who comes here to Cliff Keen Arena for the national duels. We could potentially see Lehigh. We could potentially see North Carolina State, maybe Virginia Tech. It all depends.
You know what, though? Michigan is off to a great start. Usually they win matches with that three-person gauntlet at the end, starting with Dom, the Dominator, Abonator. And you know what? They're off to a great start. 2 major decisions in 25 and 33, which we haven't seen much of so far in dual meet competition this season.
And this place is going to be rocking next Sunday.
Oh, I look forward to that dual meet.
It's going to be great.
Whoever it is, which I suspect it's going to be Missouri, but whoever it is, it will be electric. And we see an unfamiliar face here on bottom. Zach Hall filling in for George Fisher at 141 pounds.
And nothing doing here is Sabatello. Has the cradle locked up, so I don't blame him for sitting there. But Zach Hall has to continue to wrestle down there. You cannot look at the ref and wave your hands wondering when he's going to call stalemate. You have to work to break the hands and get off the bottom.
And there Sabatello starts on top once again. Hall gets back up to his feet. And we saw Hall before the dual meet warming up hard. He does not want to disappoint. It's only, I can't remember how many times it's been, but it's still fresh. He hasn't wrestled on this Cliff Keen mat very often, making one of his first matches here in the varsity lineup for the Wolverines at 141 pounds. Does not want to disappoint. Wants to prove that this is his spot and this is where he belongs.
So now the question becomes, for this coaching staff, where do you throw Zach Hall either starting the second or the third period? Because Sabatello came out and he got a quick takedown, and that's showing in the 2 minutes and 25 seconds of riding time. He's going to be upwards of 2:45 on the riding time clock. So do you throw him down where he's got written out for 2 minutes and 45 seconds and giving up 2 stall calls? So Sabatello with the second stall call, where do you put him?
Yeah, Sabatello picks up that 1 point of stalling. 3-0 leading the match. And he chooses neutral. Zach Hall, the redshirt freshman, as we mentioned, 4-3 on the season. Still a younger wrestler, undecided on his major so far in his college career. Starts the second period on the feet. See if he can get to his offense here.
And he's not discouraged. You can tell that because he's pushing the pace here. 3-0 is not that big of a lead for Sabatello, where Zach Hall couldn't come back. So pushing the pace for Zach Hall is going to be key here, and he's in deep on Sabatello's left leg on a high crotch. And Sabatello trying to stuff that head to the middle. And now a crackdown situation for Zach Hall. And this is trouble for Zach Hall. In deep on a shot, sprawled out, hips on the mat. Sabatello controlling the hips of Zach Hall, and he's doing a good job of getting his hips back on top. But Sabatello looks to hook that leg and gets the 2 for the takedown.
And like like you said, 2-point takedown for Sabatello, leads the match 5-0. He's on top again, getting 3 minutes of riding time now with 40 seconds left in the second period. Zach Hall has no answers for Sabatello's offense here. I like the urgency out of the Michigan wrestler. He kept looking for the shot, was deep on the shot, got off his knees. But at some point,
and Hall 1-4, so comes back to neutral, and this would be huge if he could score a late takedown here.
he has 15 seconds to get his offense off. He's looking for a shot. A little bit of extra pushing at the end of the period between Danny Sabatello, the redshirt senior, 13-12 on the year. He's a Law and Societies major, starting in the bottom position here in Cliff Keen. Zach Hall with the optional start. It's going to let him up. Sabatello scoots away, gets the 1-point escape. He leads the match 6-1. Zach Hall in on a shot. What does he have to do here to finish off this takedown?
It's going to be pretty difficult. I'm expecting a stalemate. You see that right arm, or excuse me, the left arm of Zach Hall was trapped, pinched near his hip, and there's nothing you can do. That's just a situation you get caught in.
And Hall looks frustrated here. You could see after they broke, he was shaking his head no. A little bit of extra pushing at the end of the second period, also getting into his head a little bit. The redshirt senior, clearly the veteran in this situation, knowing how to get into the younger wrestler's head. Leads the match early on, rides hard on top, taking him out of the match before it's even over.
And Sabatello he's a top-tier wrestler. Last season went on a 16-match dual win streak, and that just shows. In the Big Ten, that usually doesn't happen. So if you're able to get 16 straight wins in dual meets, you're doing something right. So could we see our third major of the night in 3 weight classes?
Zach Hall's gonna have to get back up to his feet, and that's what you ask of a young wrestler like Zach Hall. Hasn't wrestled much, as we saw on his scorecard. He needs to get back up to his feet and prevent bonus points here. He has 45 seconds to do so.
And I'm guessing a stall call is going to be coming. And there you have the third stall call on Zach Hall.
And there he goes. Now he's down by 9 points with that extra 4 minutes of riding time on the clock. He has to get a reversal if he wants to not give up bonus points here in this match. And by the looks of it, his head's down. He's on his knees. Doesn't seem like he has any answer for Sabatello here on top.
And he could potentially get hit again. So looks like Michael Chase is going to let this one ride out, and Sabatello is going to take this. A good win for Sabatello.
Great win for Danny Sabatello. Leads the match 10-1, and that is the third major decision of this match.